in healthcare provisions and bills like Medicare for All. Anyways, all of that is an aside. I want to cut straight to the chase. Wednesday was an extremely traumatizing event. And it is not an exaggeration to say that many, many members of the House were nearly assassinated. It's just not an exaggeration to say that at all. We were very lucky that things happened within certain minutes that allowed members to escape the House floor unharmed. But many of us nearly and narrowly escaped death. And it's also extremely traumatizing. And what was also traumatizing was how unsettling that day was, because there was a sense that something was wrong. And obviously with the violence, but there was a sense that something was wrong from the inside. As we saw, there were members of Capitol Police who were quite heroic. You know, we have many officers, and, you know, there were also Black and brown officers that were confronting white supremacists and putting themselves not just to protect members, but they put themselves in harm's way on the front line, facing the racist violence of white supremacists ordered by Donald Trump to attack the Capitol. And so there were those acts of heroism. But next to that, there was also acts of betrayal. And to run in the Capitol, in our nation's capital, and not know if an officer is there to help you or to harm you is also quite traumatizing. I know I myself, you know, there was a member, or rather there's a secure extraction point, and a secure room that you may have heard a lot of people, you know, members give interviews from. They say, I'm in a secure location, I'm in a secure location. You know, Republican members of Congress didn't wear masks. They refused to wear masks in that enclosed secure location. And now we are on, you know, just in the last 24 to 48 hours, our third Democratic member of Congress who just tested positive for COVID because they were sheltering in that place. I myself did not even feel safe going to that extraction point because there were QAnon and white supremacist sympathizers and frankly white supremacist members of Congress in that extraction point who I know and who I had felt would disclose my location and allow me to who would create opportunities to allow me to be hurt, kidnapped, etc. And so I didn't even feel safe around other members of Congress. And to be kind of fending for yourself in that way is traumatizing. And frankly, you know, I know for a lot of you, I don't even have to describe it because you've been through it in school lockdowns and you've been through it in false alarms, or if, you know, God forbid, some of you have been through that I hope and I pray that none of you have ever been in a shooting, but if you have been in a shooting, you know what that feels like. And it is no joke, you know, it's no joke. And you know, that's what happened Wednesday. Now, what happens now? We know that Donald Trump cannot be president. We know that we cannot wait until January 19th. We cannot wait until January 20th. We cannot wait until Inauguration Day. He cannot be president right now. He should not have been president yesterday. He should not have been president the night of the attack. Because Republicans and the people around him are cowards, they will not do it. And in fact, the secretaries, there is something known as so when people say, how do we get them out? How do we get them out? There are actually several avenues. So through the House and congressionally, there's impeachment. Through the president, through the president's cabinet and the vice president, there's the 25th Amendment. And what the 25th Amendment allows is, for is essentially a majority of the president's cabinet and larger portion of the president's cabinet and the vice president have to move forward and declare the president essentially unfit, unwell, and that he must be deposed, or rather he must be removed from office. And that's what the 25th Amendment does. The president's cabinet, you have Secretary Elaine Chao, who is the wife of Mitch McConnell, by the way. Does that seem a little conflict of interest, inappropriate? I don't know. But regardless, she was the Secretary of Transportation. She resigned. Betsy DeVos has resigned. Acting Secretary of DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has resigned. And all of them are resigning rather than fulfilling their duties in enacting the 25th Amendment and removing the President of the United States. I have a message for anyone who is resigning after Wednesday. Too late. Too late. You're not going to resign after Wednesday and act like you weren't a part of it. Were you secretary on Wednesday? Yes, you were. You were a part of it. Were you secretary every single step leading up to Wednesday? Yes, then you were a part of it. You don't get to allow for an attack that kills 5 people. And then afterwards, you say, I wasn't a part of it. Yes, you were. You were a part of it when you caged kids. You were a part of it when you repealed Title IX. You were a part of it when the president committed the first dozen number of crimes that he committed. You were a part of it when you excused the law breaking. You were a part of it. You were a part of it. You were a part of it. Those 5 people's blood is on your hands. What are you going to do? And they think that resigning is going to clean that blood off their hands. It is always on them. They are forever stained with the deaths of 5 people, especially when they did not invoke the 25th Amendment to remove this president when they had the power to do so. Cowards. Cowards. Couldn't even stand up in the memory of these officers that they pretend to care about. I don't want to hear or see the Republican Party talk about blue lives ever again. This was never about safety for them. It was always a slogan. Because if they actually cared about rule of law, they would speak up when people break the law. They would speak up. They would enforce fairness and equity, but they don't give a damn about the law. They don't give a damn about order. They don't give a damn about safety. They give a damn about white supremacy. They care about preserving the social order and the mythology of whiteness